ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। बिना ये ज्ञान कहाँ रे मनवा, गुरु बिना ये ज्ञान कहाँ रे मन, गुरु बिना ये ज्ञान बिना ये ध्येय अधूरा, हरि चरण कमल कैसे पाऊं, हरि चरण बिना ये ज्ञान कहाँ रे मनवा, बिना ये ज्ञान काम क्रोध मद लोभ मोह मिल, काम क्रोध मद अहंकार है जीव का दुश्मन, काम क्रोध मद लोभ मोह मिल, अहंकार है जीव का दुश्मन, भक्ति विनय से सेवा भाव से, भक्ति विनय से सेवा भाव से, जानो ये गुरु महिमा रे मनवा, पहचानो ये गुरु महिमा रे मन, पहचानो ये ज्ञान बिना ये ध्येय अधूरा, हरि चरण कमल कैसे पाऊं, बिना ये ज्ञान कहाँ रे मनवा, बिना ये नित्य निरंतर अंतर्यामी, हृदय विराजे मेरे स्वामी, नित्य निरंतर अंतर्यामी हृदय विराजे मेरे स्वामी। कैसे पाऊं उस भगवान को, कैसे पाऊं उस भगवान को। गुरु कृपा के बिना रे मनवा, गुरु दया के बिना रे मनवा। ज्ञान बिना ये ध्येय अधूरा, हरि चरण कमल कैसे पाऊं, बिना ये ज्ञान कहाँ रे मनवा, बिना गुरु बिना ये ज्ञान कहाँ रे मन, गुरु बिना ये सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादम् शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं, शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम्। भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः, दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतम् पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया। यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महा योऽङ्गीव यस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये यस्यैव स्फुरणं सदात्मकमसत्कल्पार्थकं भासते यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् यः साक्षात्करणाद्भवेन पुनरावृत्तिर्भवाम्भोनिधौ तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नानाच्छिद्रघटोदरस्थितमहा दीपप्रभाभास्वरम् ज्ञानं यस्य तु चक्षुरादिकरणद्वारा बहिस्पन्दते ज्ञानामीति तमेव भान्तमनुभात्येतत् समस्तं जगत् तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये देहं प्राणमपीन्द्रियाण्यपि चलां बुद्धिं च शून्यं विदुः स्त्रीबालान्धजडोपमास्त्वहमिति भ्रान्ता भृशं वादिनः मायाशक्तिविलासकल्पितमहा व्यामोहसंहारिणे तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये राहुग्रस्तदिवाकरेन्द्रसदृशो मायासमाच्छादना सन्मात्रकरणोपसंहरणतो भूसुषुप्तः पुमान् आत्मस्वाप्समिति प्रबोधसमये त्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बाल्यादिष्वपि जाग्रदादिषु तथा व्यावृत्तास्वनुवर्तमानमहमिति अन्तःस्फुरन्तं सदा स्वात्मानं प्रकटो करोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये विश्वं पश्यति कार्यकारणतया स्वस्वामिसम्बन्धतः शिष्याचार्यतया तथा पितृपुत्राद्यात्मना भेदतः वाय एष पुरुषो मायापरिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजताम् यो मुद्रया भद्रया. So Bhagavan, what does he do? Give the upadesha of Swa Ātmā, one's own self. To whom? Not to all. Only to bhajatam. What was the earlier term? Ashritan. See? Condition is there. Mudraya, bhadraya. Right. Detach, attach is Vedanta. Detach from the three, attach to the one. Isn't it? So what are the problems which causes detachment? That is the essence of the 8th verse. What causes detachment? What causes prevention of detachment? There are two things to be done. One you have to detach, the other you have to attach. Both are a problem. So what is the problem of detachment? Attachment is the problem which prevents us from detachment. So intellectual, there is one thing. Unwanted curiosity to know so many unwanted things happening in the world. No clarity. Vyavasayatmika buddhihi ekeha kurunandana bahushakha hyanantascha. Bahushakha hyanantascha buddhayor avyavasayinam. Bahushakha anantaha. Our mind is going to all unwanted things, busy with so many unwanted things. What about a wise man? Vyavasayatmika buddhi, single pointed conviction of the intellect. Right. So this vyavasayatmika, eka iha, this is the one thing which is needed. Very clear as to why I am here, how to get out of here. Very clear. Single pointed approach. No wastage of time anywhere. For that, intellect has to be educated. Right. Intellect is stuck here and there in so many places. Bahushakha anantaha. So what is the problem of intellect? Karya karana. Why this happened? Why that happened? How to know where I am attached? Because different people are attached to different things. How to know where I am attached? Sit for meditation. See where your mind is wandering. Bas. When you sit for meditation, the mind is supposed to be in the self. The mind is supposed to be withdrawn. The mind doesn't cooperate. Mind goes to so many places. Find out where this mind is going. Find out where this mind is going. So you will find out. So many places mind is attached. So many desires are there. Ragadveshas are there. So from such and such places, tatas tato niyamyetat atmanyeva vasham nayet. So that particular relationship you have to assess and you have to put Vedantic light on it. And that mind's stickiness to such things, beings and situation has to be dried out. It has to be eliminated, that stickiness. Mind sticks to certain things. Right. Vairagya has to be cultivated. Then the mind doesn't go there. How to cultivate Vairagya? Mind is attached to a thing or a being because it is seeing happiness there. Mind sees happiness in a thing or being. That is why mind is going there. Prove to the mind that there is no happiness there. There is only pain there. This education mind has to be given. Nothing in this world can give me happiness. In the beginning it may appear to give happiness, but in the end the very same happiness will become pain only. This mind has to be educated. So then what happens? Next time, once this educated mind sees that thing or a being, what will it remember? Not the happiness, but the pain. And wherever there is pain, mind will never go anywhere near it. That is the nature of the mind. Mind is scared of pain. Right. This is the way. So this is what is called as vairagyam, dispassion. Asanga shastrena dridhena chitva means this. Chop this sanga, the samsara vriksha, with asanga shastra. Right. Again and again mind has to be educated. Happiness, peace, solace, comfort, fulfillment. There is only one place. Which is the place? Ātmā. Nothing else. First of all, I must be convinced about it. The deeper your conviction, lesser will be the wandering of your mind. So if the mind is wandering, it means you are not convinced. The sign of conviction is cessation of wandering. Mind stops wandering into such areas. So wherever the mind is wandering, that should be a symptom of a disease. That should be an indication of disease. So when you have fever, you have temperature, isn't it? That is an indication that you are not well. So wherever the mind is going, wanting to go again and again, it's a symptom of a disease. What is that disease called? Ragadvesha. So this disease has to be cured through right thinking, right education. Intellect has to educate the mind. How is intellect educated? Through shravanam, mananam. Shravanam, mananam educates the intellect. This educated intellect then guides the mind, prevents the mind from going out, brings the mind back from the sense objects, makes the mind fixed upon the self. Right. This is the way it has to be done. So at the seat of meditation, it becomes clear to us where the mind is wandering, what is the problem with the mind, what all are the defects in the mind. So therefore, we must spend more and more time with the mind to know the nature of the mind. That is the purpose of meditation. Right. So now Bhagavan concludes verse number 9. So it is more of a concluding verse, verse number 9. Bhuram bhamsya nalo nilombaramahar himamshuh puman. Bhuram bhamsya nalo nilombaramahar himamshuh puman. Ityabhati characharatmakamidam yasyaiva murtyashtakam nanyat kinchana vidyate vimrishatam Yasmat parasmat vibhoho Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Bhurambhamsya nalo nilombaramaharnatho himamshuf puman Ityabhati characharatmakamidam yasyaiva murtyashtakam nanyat kinchana vidyate yasmat parasmat vibhoho Shri Gurumurtaye nama idam Dakshināmūrtaye. Yes. Prostration unto that Dakshināmūrti. Who is he? Yasyaiva Murti Ashtakam. He has 8 murtis, 8 forms. This Dakshināmūrti. This we had discussed earlier also. What are the 8 murtis? Bhuhu. Bhuhu means earth. Ambhamsi, water. Analaha, fire. Anilaha, air. Ambaram, space. Aharnathaha, sun. Himamshuhu, moon. Puman, the Jivatma. So how many? 8. Yasya Murti Ashtakam. So in this way, iti characharatmakam vibhati, abhati. In this way, the whole world, chara achara atmakam. This world, what is this world? Chara achara atmakam. This world is of the nature of chara and achara. Chara means moving, achara means non-moving. So sentient and insentient, that's the meaning. Not that some things move and some things don't move. Sentient and insentient. So in this, what is the insentient component out of these 8? All. What is the sentient one? Jivatma. Jivatma is the sentient, the rest everything is insentient. Okay. So this is characharatmakam. So in this way, Dakshinamurti is seen as 8-fold forms. So what is this world which we are seeing? It is none other than Bhagavan alone. Earlier what was said? In the first verse, this world is a mithya. Now what is being said? This world is none other than Dakshinamurti. So what is the meaning? Dakshinamurti is mithya. Vishwam equal to mithya, Vishwam equal to Dakshinamurti. Therefore, conclusion. You have understood the text perfectly well. Right? What is the meaning? This Vishwam, where is it Pashyan? Ātmani Pashyan. So this Vishwam is nothing but Ātmā. This Ātmā is Dakshinamurti. See? So therefore it is said, Na anyat kinchana vidyate. There is nothing else. Parasmad vibhoho anyat na kinchana vidyate. There is nothing other than Bhagavan. Who is he? Vibhu. Parasmat vibhu. The Supreme Lord. Right. Vibhu means all pervading. All pervading Lord. So one name is Vibhu. So Supreme Lord who is all pervading, there is nothing other than in this other than Bhagavan in this world. Who understand this? Vimrishatam, not for everyone. Those who reflect upon the truth. The contemplative ones, Vimrishatam, they know it. They know this great truth that there is none other than Bhagavan. Dakshinamurthi. He himself has become all these 8 forms. So therefore, what does Ramana Maharshi say? How to live in this world? Jagata ishadhi yukta sevanam ashtamurti bhrat deva pujanam. Jagata sevanam. Serve this world. Serve this world. How? Ishadhi yukta sevanam. With this understanding that I am serving Bhagavan only. This world is Bhagavan himself. So therefore, when I am serving anyone, I am serving Bhagavan only. This becomes Deva Pujanam. Jakata Sevanam becomes Deva Pujanam. The serving of the world, service of the world becomes worship of the Lord. Naraseva, Narayana Seva, etc. What is that? Correct? Or Madhava Seva? Huh? What is that quote? Naraseva, Narayana Seva. Correct. What is that? Jana Seva, Janardana Seva. So all these things are coming from the scriptures only. Aitu. Jana Seva equal to Janardana Seva. Correct. So all these statements are coming from our scriptures. Right. So for the one. So now, very interestingly, in the beginning, first verse, what is said there? Ātmā is everything. What is said here? Dakshināmūrti is everything. There it was said, Vishwam is just an appearance. Appearing in Ātmā. Now the same thing is said, the whole Vishwam is nothing but Bhagavan's form. So what is the conclusion? Ātmā is none other than Dakshinamurti. So who is Dakshinamurti? He is the very self-inness. So actually it is a conclusion. So now we have the last verse, which is actually Phalashruti. Phalashruti means what? What will happen to all those who listen to this, chant this, reflect upon this, meditate on this? What will happen to them? Verse number 10, page number 106. Sarvatmattvamiti sfutikritamidam yasmadamushminstave tenasya shravanat tadarthamananat dhyānācca sankīrtanāt sarvātmatva mahāvibhūti sahitam syādīśvaratvam svataha siddhetat punarashtadha parinatam chaishwaryamavyahatam sarvatmattvamiti sfutikritamidam yasmadamushminstave tenasyasya mananat dhyānācca sankīrtanam sarvātmatva mahāvibhūti sahitam syād īśvaratvam svataha siddhetat punarashtadha parinatam chaishvaryamavyahatam. Yes. So amush means the way. In this stuti, in this stotram, idam sfutikritam. This has been clearly stated. What has been clearly stated? Sarvatmatvam iti. What is the essence of this text? Sarvatmatvam. Everything is Ātmā alone. There is nothing other than Ātmā. There is nothing other than the Supreme Self. Right? Since this is the case, so therefore, yasmat, since this is the case, tena asya shravanat tad artha mananat dhyānat sankīrtanat. This is what you have to do with this stotram. Dakshināmurthy Stotram. What you have to do? Shravanam, artha mananam, dhyānam, sankīrtanam. These things must be done. Right. So what is shravanam? What we have been doing last 3-4 days. Listening. Listening. Not only listening, tad artha mananam, reflecting the meaning of it. Right? Shravanam, mananam. Then we have to do dhyānam, meditating on it. So what happens with shravanam? You gather the information. What happens with mananam? You gain conviction. What is conviction? Doubtless knowledge, where you don't have any doubt. How to get rid of doubt? What is doubt, first of all? Doubt also has to be defined. When the incoming knowledge from a trusted source doesn't match with the present knowledge in me, then there is a disturbance in the mind. That disturbance in the mind is called doubt. See, everything has a definition, you know. How do you define a doubt? I have some knowledge with me. Right? I thought this is right. But then what happened? From a trusted source. Not some Tom, Dick and Harry telling something. From a trusted source, like for example, Veda Vachanam or Guru Vachanam, Shastra Vachanam. You hear something, but that knowledge doesn't match with my present knowledge. Then what happens? You are disturbed. Why you are disturbed? My knowledge is imperfect. Imperfect knowledge is nothing but ignorance only. So somewhere I am wrong. This creates a kind of restlessness in you, misery in you. So this is the expression of a doubt. So then you want to clear it. Then what do you do? Okay. Then you reflect upon it. What is said? Where is it right and what I know, where I am wrong. So you do churning, mathanam. That's called as mananam, reflection. Like for example, my knowledge is that I am the body. What do the scriptures say? You are not the body. Doubt has come. How I am not the body? Then the scriptures say, you are not the body because you are the observer of the body. Body is the observed, you are the observer. Observer can never be observed. Drashta and drishya can never be the same. So this is the logic. So again you sit, think, yes, yeah, correct. So now what has happened? Now you have accepted that new knowledge. You have given up your present ignorance. Gave up the ignorance, accepted that knowledge. Now you have elevated yourself. Next time when you listen from the scriptures, you are not the body, you have no problem. So that means that doubt has gone. So the result of mananam is freedom from doubts. There is no freedom. And there is no doubt. Right? Means what? You are convinced. There is a conviction. Yes, this is right, this is right, this is right. Now conviction alone, is it enough? I am convinced, I am Brahman. Is it enough? No. Why? Every knowledge has to culminate in experience. Simply saying I am Brahman will not do. Are you experiencing Brahman? This is the most important thing. Knowledge is in experience. Do you know anger? Yes, Swamiji, I am living in that only. I know it means what? It's not a bookish knowledge. I have experienced it. Jealousy, I know it because I have experienced it. Headache, I know it because, see? Right. Some city in some foreign land, I know it, I have read about it, but I have not gone to that place, so therefore experience has not happened. See? So knowledge also has got different levels. One is just an information. That's one level, the lowest level. The next level of knowledge is conviction has happened. That's better. But the culmination is in experience. That's why we have shravanam, mananam and nidhyāsanam. So the process of nidhyāsanam, it is all experiencing. That is emphasized. You must experience. Now how to experience the self? Any experience happen when you pay attention. The secret of experiencing is in paying attention. Many times we experience, but since we are not paying attention, we don't know. When you pay attention, it is registered in the mind. That experience is registered. So paying attention is the way to know. So in dhyānam, what do? You pay attention. Pay attention to what? So see the Chinmudra, that ego has to pay attention to the Lord. Where is the Lord? In us. How is He? So see the description given about. His consciousness, His existence, His the self. So every one of us, we are experiencing it. Turn your attention there. This is called as dhyānam. Dhyānam means concentration actually. Dhyānam, it comes from the term dhi. Dhi means intellect. So you pay attention there. So when you pay attention, what happens? You start experiencing that. Attention also has got different levels of intensities. So as you practice, your intensity of concentration becomes deeper and deeper, becomes more and more strong. So as your concentration becomes intense, what happens to your experience? Experience also becomes intense. What will you experience if you fix your attention on Ātmā? What will be the experience? Sat, Chit, Anand. So intensifying of experience means Sat becomes intense, Chit becomes intense, Anand also becomes intense. But to pay attention, what is the necessary condition? Withdrawal of the mind from the world. Otherwise you can't pay attention. Mind is not available. To pay attention, mind has to be available. If the mind has to be available, it should have necessary vairagya. Otherwise what will happen? You close your eyes and the mind is outside only. It is not willing to come inside. Mind is outside. That is not meditation. That is Vishaya dhyānam. Dhyānam means paying attention. Right? All dhyānam need not take you to God. Because so many things you can pay attention to. Bhagavad dhyānam should happen. Ātmā dhyānam should happen, not Vishaya dhyānam. So the necessary condition is vairagya. Only then the mind will come back. Only when then the mind will listen to you. That's why Bhagavan Shankaracharya used one verse for that. Whether it is intellectual attachment or emotional attachment, mind is gone. So be free from that. Bring the mind back. Pay attention to the self. Dhyānam. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Slowly, 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 a time comes when paying attention becomes a habit. Because anything which you keep on doing, it will become a habit. Good or bad? Good or bad? You slowly pay attention. Regularly you do it. Again and again you do it. Slowly, slowly, slowly what happens? It becomes a nature of the mind to pay attention to the self. So what will be the experience of the mind? A mind which is resting in the self will experience the property of the self. Right? Ananda is the property, so mind becomes naturally blissful. You don't need a reason to be happy. You don't need a reason to feel fulfillment. Why you don't need a reason? You don't need a reason because this is your nature. If you are sad, we can ask, why are you sad? If you are happy, we should not ask, why are you happy? Why are you happy? Means what? Happiness is my nature. This is what you should say. That doesn't mean that you should keep on laughing and walking around. That's the point. Right. It should be the happiness expressed by Dakshinamurthy. What is that happiness? Maunavyakhya prakatita parabrahma tattvam yuvanam varshishthante vasadrishigane avrutam brahmanishte acharyendram karakalita chinmudramanandarupam swātmā rāmam mudita vadanam Dakshināmūrti made mudita vadanam, smiling face. Why? Anandarupam. Why? Ātmā rāmam. Right. So, progress in spirituality is measured in terms of peace, joy, fulfillment, contentment. This is spiritual progress. Because this joy comes when the mind rests in the self. Right. So as we do this Vedantic meditation, what happens is there is an what you call natural joy emanating from the heart. So once the mind starts getting this joy from the true source, that mind understands this is the source of all joy. Such a mind stops wandering everywhere. The beggarliness in mind vanishes. It stops begging for happiness from the outer world. Because now it has known the source. The source is the self. So the mind starts naturally abiding in the self. Dhyānam. So slowly, mind starts concentrating on the self, going deep into the self. Right? So in the process, it becomes detached from the BMI. It becomes attached to consciousness. It becomes identified with consciousness. It gets disidentified from BMI. So slowly what happens to the feeling of identity about myself? Slowly I start feeling I am consciousness. Aham Brahma Asmi. Bhidyate Hridaya Granthihi Chidyante Sarva Samshayaha. So that mind which rests in the self gets totally identified with the self, and now it has become a habit. It has become its nature. In the process, mind is experiencing Satchit Anand. So slowly what happens? Your understanding about yourself undergoes a drastic transformation. Earlier what was your understanding? I am BMI. Why? Because the mind was constantly paying attention to BMI and the needs of the BMI. Mind was always operating through BMI. So therefore your understanding was, I am BMI. Now a time comes when the mind is abiding in consciousness. So then what happens? Your understanding about yourself undergoes a drastic change. I am consciousness functioning through BMI. This is a new definition. Earlier what was your definition? I am BMI. Consciousness, what is it? I don't know. I am BMI. Now you say, I am consciousness. So now consciousness has become important. I am that consciousness which is just functioning through this world, through this instrument called BMI. BMI is reduced to the status of an instrument. Earlier what was its status? BMI was I. It is no more I, now it is instrument of I. Bas. So then what happens? It has become inferior in your own eyes. It has lost importance. I am not BMI. BMI is just my instrument. So what you should do with your instrument? Use it. Where? To transact with the world. BMI is necessary. Every instrument has its purpose. Whether it is specs, whether it is watch, everything has its purpose. You use it. And a time will come when that instrument will get spoiled, damaged, and you just throw it away. Isn't it? In the same way, the BMI also will have a time when it has to depart. You have no problem with it. Because now there is a perfect objectification. BMI has become an object. You have realized your true subject. Earlier what was the condition? BMI was the subject. Anything which happens to the subject, it will affect you. As a law of this universe. Anything happening to me will affect me. So earlier I thought BMI was me. So anything happening to the body mind, it was affecting me. Now what has happened? It has been given the status of an object. So anything happening to it, it is not happening to me. I am the observer alone. Nothing is happening to me. So then what happens? Your mind becomes very peaceful. It's something like something is happening to your shadow. Will you be affected? No. This is called objectification. Such a big distance you see from yourself and from your instrument. Then there is peace. Sukha, dukkha, labha, nashta, mana, apamana, they are all coming to whom? BMI. You are just an observer, observing the ups and downs happening to the BMI. Nothing is happening to you. This is called as nirdvandva. Right. Neyasya nitya sannyāsī yo nadveshti na kaṅkshati nirdvando hi mahabaho sukham bandhat pramuchyate. Such a person becomes easily liberated. Such a person is a true sannyasi. Who is a true sannyasi? The one who is not affected by the ups and downs of life. Nirdvandva. Why is not affected? He is not affected because he has nothing to do with ups and downs. Because all ups and downs belong to BMI. This is true spirituality. Now remember, all these are very, very subjective. Don't take a measuring yardstick and see who is realized. Let me see. You will never know. It's something very subjective. Only you know. How much disturbed I am? How will you know? How much disturbed you are? How will I know? If it is extreme disturbance, your tears will come and all that. I understand. But there are so many levels of disturbance, isn't it? There are so many levels of peace also. Nobody will know. Only you know. So it is a subjective journey. Let us not bring competition here. It's a silent journey. It's a slow unfoldment that happens inside. Right? In what way can we cooperate in this unfoldment process? The speed of unfoldment can be increased if we can efface our ego in all transactions with the world. Effacement of ego is the key. Right. So the process is faster. For a humble, simple person, detachment from the BMI is very easy. Right. So this is dhyāna prakriya. Shravanam, mananam, dhyānam. Now, to do this shravana, manana, nidhyāsana, the other term is nidhyāsana. It's the same as dhyāna. One more term is used here, sankīrtanat. What is this sankīrtanam? Sankīrtanam doesn't mean you, with tala you sing. That is one superficial meaning. What is kirtanam? Glorification. What is glorification? Valuing a thing is called glorification. In your life, that becomes very important. That is called kirtanam. Whether you sing it or not, that is not the point. The point is now, it is worth glorification. This knowledge, it is great. I want it. It is very, very valuable. I just can't miss it. I must have it. This is called sankīrtanam. So then what happens? Rest everything will happen. If sankīrtanam happens, if you start valuing this knowledge, shravanam will happen. You will find a time for shravanam. You will find time for mananam and nidhyāsanam. Why? It is very, very important. You have understood. The very purpose of life is this. How can I miss it? No, I must have time for this. That is sankīrtanam. So whatever you value, what is the law of this universe? Whatever you value, you will work hard for it. Whatever you work hard, you will get it. That is the law. Everything is so ichha. Don't forget this. You must desire it first. Desiring comes when you start valuing it. You start valuing it when you know the greatness of it, when you know the benefits of it, then you value it. Right? Shravanat, tadarthamananat, dhyānācca, sankīrtanat. When you constantly do it, then the cosmos has to bless you with that. In what way it blesses you? Sarvatmatva mahavibhuti sahitam syat ishwaratvam swataha. Naturally then, swataha. This mahavibhuti will come to you. What is this mahavibhuti? Sarvatmatvam. This experience that everything is one, that one thing is my own self. This is the greatest vibhuti, the greatest achievement, glory. And such a person, what will he become? Ishwaratvam, the state of Godhood he attains. Because what is God? Ātmā is God. So knowing Ātmā is knowing God only. Isha darshanam swatmarupatah. What is Isha darshanam? Ātmā darshanam itself is Isha darshanam. So such a person, Syad Ishwaratvam. Siddhyet tad punar ashtadha parinatam cha aishwaryam. He will attain to that state of Dakshināmūrti. So, Ashtadha Parinatam, that Lord who has Parinatam, Parinama means transformed. That Lord who has transformed into Ashtadha, eightfold. Means what? Means Dakshināmūrti, Aishwaryam. The state of Ishvara is called Aishwarya. That state of Ishvara who has transformed into eightfolds. So, he attained to the state of Dakshināmūrti. Right. Another meaning given here is he attains the Ashtasiddhis. What are the Ashtasiddhi? Anima, Mahima, Garima, Lagima, etc. All those things are here. You can read it. They are all different powers. So those who meditate on this, desiring certain powers, that also you will get. That's the point. But is it really necessary? What will you do with Anima Mahima? Anima means becoming small, becoming big, becoming heavy, becoming light. All these siddhis, ability to control others. Some Ashtasiddhis are there. So Ashtadha can have another meaning. But that meaning doesn't suit here. After studying all this, suddenly where did this Anima Mahima come from? It just doesn't match the context. But that meaning also can be squeezed out. So avyahata means in such a case, if such a person develop all these siddhis will not destroy him. Generally what happens when siddhis come, you want to show off your siddhi, you want to become a great guru with so many followers, and that becomes his downfall. Because our greatest enemy is ego. When I start showing siddhis, what will happen? I am only putting more and more manure for the ego to grow, and that is my downfall. But in such a Mahatma, even if the siddhis come, it will not destroy him. Why? Because this Mahatma has no ego. The ego is dead. That's why he has attained such a state. For a person who has no ego, these siddhis cannot touch him. Avyahatam, indestructible. Right. So the point is this: those people who study this stotram, shravanam, mananam, nidhyāsanam, sankīrtanam, etc., they will attain to the state of sarvatma bhavam, that itself is the state of Dakshināmūrti. This is the point. Thus, the text has come to an end. The camp also has come to an end. So what should we do now? This is what you have to do. Shravanam. Let not the study stop here. Let the sankīrtanam, if in these 3-4 days, if at least sankīrtanam has happened, then the camp is successful. If we have considered this as really something to be, to strive for in life, that is the purpose of all satsangs. Create an interest. create the inspiration to walk this path. So I sincerely invoke the grace of the Lord, the blessings of the Guru Parampara. May we all walk this path and attain to this great state mentioned in the Upanishads. Mano buddhya hankara Cettani naham na ca shrotra jihve na ca grana netre na ca vyoma bhumirna tejo na vayuh chidananda rupah shivoham shivoham chidananda rupah shivoham shivoham na ca pranasannyo na vai panchavayuh na va sapta dhaturna va panchakoshah na vakpāṇipādau na copasthapayu chidananda rupah shivoham shivoham chidananda rupah shivoham shivoham na me dvesha ragau na me lobha mohau mado naiva me naiva matsarya bhavaha na dharmo na chartho na kamo na mokshah chidananda rupah shivoham shivoham chidananda rupah shivoham shivoham na punyam na papam न सौख्यं न दुःखम् न मन्त्रो न तीर्थो न वेदा न यज्ञाः अहं भोजनं नैव भोज्यं न भोक्ता चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् न मृत्युर्न शङ्का न मे जातिभेदः पिता नैव मे नैव माता न जन्म न बन्धुर्न मित्रम् गुरुर्नैव शिष्यः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् अहं निर्विकल्पो निराकाररूपो विभुर्व्याप्य सर्वत्र सर्वेन्द्रियाणाम् सदा मे समत्वम् न मुक्तिर्न बन्धः चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् चिदानन्दरूपः शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् शिवोऽहं शिवोऽहम् सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।